Welcome to She is Resilient, a podcast for women on their healing journeys who are ready to start living their most authentic and empowered lives outside of survival mode. I'm your host, Tatiana, trauma and somatic therapist, as well as a holistic coach, and I'm on a mission to help more women heal their nervous systems. Each week, me and my guests are going to get real and vulnerable about the experiences that led us to becoming the empowered and resilient women we are today. You'll leave this podcast with the skills, knowledge, and inspiration to start creating the life you deserve. Because if another woman can do it, so can you. Welcome back to another episode of She is Resilient. How are we doing today? I feel like there's so much happening in the country right now, and I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. So let's just check in for a moment. Notice your heart rate. Notice the quality of your breath. Feel your chair, or maybe your feet on the ground. Just take a moment to be here in this moment. So today, we are talking about something that is very common in the women that I work with, but it's often really misunderstood, and that is chronic pain. More specifically, we're talking about neuroplastic pain and how the nervous system plays a significant role in how we experience pain. And even if you think that you don't experience chronic pain, I still invite you to listen, because when I was living in survival mode, I definitely did not identify as someone who had chronic pain. But now that I understand chronic pain or neuroplastic pain, I look back and know that I definitely was experiencing chronic pain. So let's just get into it. What exactly is neuroplastic pain? Neuroplastic pain is pain that isn't being caused by a current physical injury or structural issue in your body. It's pain that's being generated by the nervous system. But I want to be really clear here. The pain is 100% real. It's not that you're making the pain up. You're not making it up. But the cause of the pain is different from what most of us are taught to believe. So instead of being caused by ongoing physical damage, this pain is often being driven by a nervous system that's stuck in survival mode. So basically, your brain and your body learned the pain, but the good news is that what's been learned can always be unlearned. So when I lived in survival mode, I was experiencing chronic pain, but I never labeled it as chronic pain. So for example, I was experiencing IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, constant migraines and headaches, and ongoing back pain. The IBS symptoms I had since I was a kid, so that was just normal for me. The migraines, I always thought it was connected to not getting enough water or food, and the back pain I thought was genetic because my dad also suffers from chronic pain. So all of these things were just my normal, so I never labeled them as anything and never tied them to being in survival mode. Because A, I didn't even know I was in survival mode to begin with, and B, when something is your normal, it's that much harder to notice that something isn't right. Also, if you want to learn more about IBS, you can go back and listen to episode 66, IBS, Inflammation and Trauma, or if you have a medical diagnosis like POTS, fibromyalgia, or anything else, you can also listen to episode 68, Healing Chronic Illness from the Root. Okay, so let's talk about some signs that your chronic pain is neuroplastic, aka that your chronic pain could be reversible. Number 1, you've had every test done and nothing shows up. So you've done the MRIs, the x-rays, the labs. Everything comes back as quote unquote normal, and yet you're still in pain. So again, that doesn't mean that the pain isn't real. It just means that the source of the pain might not be something that shows up on a scan. It might be coming from your brain's pain signaling system and how your body has adapted over time to stress or trauma. So that's number one, that you've had every test done and nothing shows up. Number two, your pain moves or changes. So one day it's your back, another day it's your neck, or maybe the intensity of the pain shifts based on your stress levels. So that kind of unpredictability is actually a sign that the nervous system is playing a huge role. So when your pain is purely structural, so for example, if you have a broken bone, it usually stays in the same place. But neuroplastic pain moves, it shifts. So it changes or it flares up with emotion. An example of this is if you experience neck pain, but then one day you feel the pain in your shoulder instead of the neck. Even though the shoulder is close to the neck, it's still a shift from the neck. So it doesn't have to be a significant or obvious change. Those small changes are signs and indicators that the nervous system is speaking to you. Number three, stress and emotional triggers make the pain worse. So you might notice that your pain increases during conflict, stress, overwhelm, or anxiety. Or maybe even when you think about something upsetting, it starts to increase. This is something that I see all of the time with my clients. As soon as we start working with a specific experience, their pain starts to get worse. And that's because pain and emotion are processed in the same part of the brain. So when your emotional stress is high, pain signals get louder. Number four, you feel better when you're distracted, relaxed, or on vacation. So if your pain fades into the background when you're relaxed, traveling, laughing with someone, or totally focused on something that you love, this is a huge sign that your pain is neuroplastic. This means that your brain can turn down the pain when it's not in a state of threat. So basically, when you're relaxed, laughing at ease, you're in a parasympathetic state. So your nervous system feels safe. And when it feels safe, those pain signals aren't going off, which is the best sign that you don't have to live with chronic pain forever, because when you heal your nervous system, your pain will naturally dissipate. And number five, you've experienced trauma, chronic stress, or anxiety. So think about when your pain started. Maybe it was after a loss, a breakup, burnout, childhood trauma, or something that you experienced that was highly stressful and maybe even traumatic. Or maybe you've always lived in a high stress state. All of these experiences impact your nervous system, and when your nervous system is constantly on high alert, it doesn't feel safe enough to not be in pain. So your body stays in that state of protection, aka survival mode. And the pain just becomes part of that survival mode cycle. So if you're nodding your head at any of these, just know your pain is real and your pain is reversible. So let's talk about how we can do this. Hey there, if you're looking for daily somatic practices to add to your toolbox, I'd love to introduce you to my somatic bundle where I guide you through over 30 somatic tools and practices that support your nervous system by creating the safety that your nervous system requires to move out of survival mode. Just click the link in the show notes and you will get immediate access to my library of tools. See you there. The first thing that we need to do to heal neuroplastic pain or to reverse chronic pain is to start building a felt sense of safety in your body. So your nervous system can't heal if it doesn't feel safe, right? If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that safety is the key word. The reason your nervous system goes into survival mode is because it doesn't feel safe. So, to heal chronic pain, we need to create that safety in the body. But this doesn't mean forcing yourself to meditate or forcing yourself to calm down. It means slowly learning how to be with your body in a way that feels tolerable. That might be placing a gentle hand on your chest or feeling your feet on the floor. It's those tiny moments of safety that start to rewire your nervous system. Next, we need to learn the language of your nervous system. So the nervous system only speaks through physical sensations. So pain is a physical sensation that tells you that your nervous system is activated, that your nervous system doesn't feel safe. So when you learn how to track sensations like tightness, temperature of your body, tingling, pressure, or release, you start to understand what your body is trying to tell you. And this is exactly what we do in somatic experiencing. We track those signals instead of trying to get rid of them, which allows the body to complete old stress responses and begin to shift out of survival mode. If you want to learn more about somatic experiencing, you can head over to episode 79, the healing method no one is talking about. The third thing that we need to do to reverse chronic pain or neuroplastic pain is to educate yourself on neuroplasticity. So when you understand how the brain and the body work together to generate pain, it becomes less scary. So oftentimes I see clients experience pain, and that pain leads to panic. But once you understand what the pain is trying to tell you, you start to build curiosity and capacity to be with that pain in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. So I created a workshop called Break Free from Chronic Pain, where I dive much deeper into the topic of neuroplastic pain and the connection to the nervous system. It's a pre-recorded 30-minute workshop. If you want access to Break Free from Chronic Pain, the link is in the show notes. So I hope you found this episode helpful. If you've been living with chronic pain or chronic illness and you feel like nothing has worked, then I want you to know that there is a different way. I've seen it over and over again with the women that I work with. Some women specifically come see me because of their physical symptoms, even though I'm a trauma therapist. But like I always say, everything is always connected to the nervous system. So, if you're looking for a different approach to healing and finally reversing your chronic pain, I want to invite you to my private chronic pain coaching program. We work together for 6 weeks using a structured framework to help you understand your pain signals, build safety in your body, move out of these protective states, fight, flight, and freeze, and finally get your life back. So if this speaks to you, I'd love to support you. The link to the private coaching program is in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being here, and as always, I appreciate you. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you absolutely loved this episode, I would so appreciate it if you subscribed and left a review on Apple Podcast, or take a screenshot and share this episode on social media. The more nervous systems we reach, the more generational cycles we break, and the more we contribute to a kinder and safer world. And if you're looking for somatic healing services, send me a DM and I'd love to chat on how I can support you. I'll see you in the next episode.